I'm John Modlin, Chief of the U.S. Border Patrol's Tucson sector. This morning, I'm at the Tucson International Airport. Behind me, you can see recently processed migrants boarding an international flight back to their country of origin. I would remind anyone thinking about crossing the border illegally between the ports of entry that under Title 8, you may face an enhanced expedited removal process, meaning that upon being encountered, you'll be promptly placed into immigration proceedings and may be removed. Instead, anyone considering migrating to the United States is highly encouraged to apply for admission. Don't risk your life or the lives of your loved ones by crossing illegally through Arizona's desert during the summer months. Remember, there are consequences for illegal entry under Title 8. These consequences are strictly enforced. Use the CBP1 mobile application. Don't cross the border.
Hi guys, I'm your host Larry. Thank you for coming back to my YouTube channel, and to my new subscribers, welcome on board. So in today's, I have this story of a Caribbean woman who was arrested for using a dead person's passport in the UK. Let's have a look at the video and then I'll be back with more comments.
Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and I just wanted to tell you about this woman. She came from the Caribbean, and she was told by a couple of friends, I don't know what kind of friends they are, that you can stay in the UK if you marry someone or if you buy a passport. So she decides, oh, probably I don't want to get married to anyone, so let me buy a passport. So she buys what she thinks is a dead person's passport. And she gets jobs off of it. She ended up working for the NHS. She ended up having a good job. She ended up going to university. She ended up getting a mortgage. And she filed for limited leave to remain, so she brought her 3 kids over, and they went to university and they graduated. Anyway, in 2006, the police turn up at her door. You might say, so why are you just talking about it now? But I'll get to that. So in 2006, the police turn up at her door and they find out that she's been living under someone else's name. So she goes to court, she explains and starts saying, she made a mistake, she didn't realise, blah, blah, blah. They give her a suspended sentence of 18 months. And what else did they give her? 18 months. Anyway, I'm going to read my notes, so I've got it all here. But they gave her a suspended sentence of 18 months, but they chose not to deport her. Now I'm thinking to myself, if somebody's come into the country illegally, using somebody else's passport, one of the main factors of when they're dealing with whether or not somebody should come in or not is good character. So this woman obviously didn't have a good character, because she came here and she didn't she bought a dead person's passport. Now I'm not saying this to knock the woman. What I'm saying this is, why didn't they deport her? Why not? Because they know, or they knew, or they got 2,500 every year for each child, for herself and each child, until the 10 years was up. So she ended up paying £40,000 in visa fees. She is now eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, which gives her the majority of benefits that a British citizen would have. That's going to cost her around 11,000 something for her and her 3 children. So that's another monetary incentive for the government. So all I'm saying is that, that for me is instant deportation. Why keep the lady in the country just because you want the money? Shouldn't she have been deported straight away? But oh no. They're thinking, well, we won't deport her. And the funny thing is that because they've allowed her in this country for so long, and because she's now eligible to claim for indefinite leave to remain, if she claims for it, that 11,000, whatever she's going to pay, it's unlikely that she's going to be successful, because under new legislation, if you've got a criminal record, unless you can, I don't know, unless you've got a fantastic lawyer, your application for indefinite leave to remain will be declined. So she'll end up paying that money and she won't get it back. And yet her and her kids will be deported after they've managed to get 51 grand out of her. I mean, it's absolute. That is really blunt, saying it in that way. But that's the reality of the situation. So let me just read, put my glasses on and read what I've taken down from the source, okay? It's from Manchester News. And it says she spent 40,000 on visa fees over 23 years when she started living under what she thought was a dead woman's name. By buying a dead woman's passport, she thought, of course, that it would give her a new life. But of course, what it's done is killed her reputation and killed her career. She lost her job, lost her house, and goodness knows what. Anyway, I don't know how she got away with it for so long, having a passport that belonged to a dead woman, because what about the image? Did she look like the woman? Technology? Did that help her find out? The only reason she got found out must be because there was a woman with the same ID as her and the same name, and the police found out. That's how she got found out. But how can... And the woman wasn't even dead that she bought the passport. So her friend stitched her up. I mean, you know, people who are coming from abroad cannot rely on information given by friends. Everybody's looking for a buck, a quick buck. And now you do time, you get kicked out, you get deported. Where's your friend? I don't know how much she paid for the passport, but she's probably living the life of Riley. Anyway, in 2006, the police showed up. She was handed an 18 months prison sentence, which meant she lost her job and her home. She was granted temporary leave to remain in the UK in 2013. Why was she granted temporary leave to remain? That's what I don't understand. You know, you've done a crime. You're living here illegally. Why are you given temporary leave to remain? Like I said, it's a monetary incentive. I can't think of any other reason unless somebody else can. So, and this temporary leave to remain has to be renewed every 2.5 years for 10 years, costing $2,500 per person, so her and her 3 kids, per year, which amounts to 40,000. So instead, they made her pay. Yeah, I've said that. Now, the 10 years are up. It is likely her application for leave to remain will be denied. I'm saying that only because she's done jail time, but sometimes if you've got a good lawyer, you can plead that, you know, I think they have something called private life and living in the UK and building up attachments with the UK and all that kind of stuff. You might be, but I heard that I think they're trying to do away with Article 8. So I'm not quite sure where that stands now. But she needs to do her homework before she pays out that 11,000, because that 11,000 can really build a foundation for her when if she goes back to the Caribbean and doesn't pay for the indefinite leave to remain that she may not get. Anyway, this process will cost her 11,540 for the 4 of them. She came originally on a standard 6-month visa. She extended her stay for another 6 months and invited her 3 children to join her. She was ambitious under her new identity, and that's what I mean. She didn't sit around and, you know, mess around. She did do a degree, and she did get a good job. She did buy a house, but the thing is, because the degree is in somebody else's name, it's not worth anything. So what is the point of that? People called her Lucy. Even her children called her Lucy. Her last child, she gave the last child the forged name. Well, not forged name, the fraudulent name on the passport. Fraudulent surname. 2 years suspended sentence, but spared deportation. it took 2 years to be granted leave to remain. Yeah, so that's that story there. Tell me what you think. I don't know. I just love these immigration stories because what it does, it contradicts what the media are saying and what actually happens. And I just think, I've said it time and time again, immigration is about money. It's not about all these foreigners in. Yeah, the people, the civilians, the citizens, they're worried about all these people coming into the country. But the government, all they're worried about is all these immigrants in the country. How much money can they make us? They make the billions off of immigration fees. And this is a prime example. Otherwise, why didn't they deport her? They could have deported her, but instead they say, no, we're not going to deport her. We can get 51,000 out of this one, and then we'll send her back. I'm not saying that that's what happens, but it does look that way to me. But anyway, life ain't fair, is it? And you've got to do, if you do crime, you've got to do the time. And she did wrong, so she suspended jail sentence plus 51 grand on top of it. I think that's enough punishment for one person. But if I was her, I'd.
So guys, I hope you've watched the video, and the first question I have in mind is that why wasn't the woman or rather deported? So we've had cases of people being deported to their countries, or rather back to their countries, when they are found in a foreign country without the right documents. But in this case, this woman wasn't deported. And at some point I've had people talk of it's about the what you can do for that country, the income, how much they can generate from you in form of taxes. And it's clear that they've taken a lot, like she's been paying all her taxes very well, but she was just given an 18 months ban, or rather sentence. So a message to my leaders, or rather to our leaders, the Caribbean leader, the PM Andrew Holness, and to our African leaders, like why are these people choosing to travel, or rather migrate illegally to other countries? The problem is, for one, we'll talk about unemployment. The people in our countries, they're facing a lot of unemployment. You can find somebody has studied up to the university level, has degrees, diplomas, the PhDs, but lacks employment. So the person opts to illegally migrate to another country to try and see if they can make their ends meet. Our leaders in our country, we have a lot of talents, but they're taken to waste. A person has studied to be an architect, to be an engineer, but he or she is at home. Another thing, it's poor governance. People are running away from this poor governance, poor leadership. We've had cases of police oppressing the poor. Instead of protecting, they are the ones oppressing the poor. They hurt us. They humiliate us. The people whom we are depending on to protect us, they are oppressing us. They are hurting us. They are killing us. Who are we supposed to be afraid of? Are we also supposed to be afraid of the police? So this is another reason to why people run away from their own country. Poor governance. Another thing is that we've had a lot of good athletes representing other foreign countries. Why don't they represent our own? Why? Our countries and our leaders fail to acknowledge these talents. They fail. And why am I saying that? Our leaders, they are greedy. They only think about themselves and their families. And there's this corruption everywhere. You might find like you as a person, you have this talent, you're good at sports, this racing, or rather football. But because you don't have money to bribe these leaders to accept you into their program, into their sport program, you find out that they give chances to those who have money. And of course, they're not good at sports, but because their fathers or their parents knows these parents, like there's this thing of, I know someone. This guy is my friend, so I'll do him this favor. This kid is of that person who's my friend, so I'll just take this person. Even if he's not good at it, I'll take him. So that's why we end up losing good athletes. Because when they migrate to that country, they work hard. They do everything they can to get the citizenship, and they enroll into their sports program. And well, their talent is being appreciated by them. And now you'll hear about this country is ranked around or maybe third last or fifth last, or rather ranked poorly in the world in terms of sports. It's because of our countries, they fail, or rather our leaders, they fail in recognizing or rather acknowledging the talents that our people have. So people choose like, let's try our luck somewhere else. And when they make it, they can never represent their country of origin. Some people will call that betrayal. But first, those people, those athletes were betrayed by their own country. There is a story of William, who plays for Athletic Madrid. No, Athletic Bilbao in Spain, in a Spanish league. He's from Ghana. But he once said that he might be the fastest guy, but he can't be the fastest more than his own mother. His own mother ran fast and crossed the border to Spain with him because of poor governance in Ghana, poor leadership. And that's when William decided to switch the citizenship from Ghana to Spain. And now he represents Spain in the national level and not Ghana. So guys, all this starts from our own home, our own country. Our country needs to recognize us, need to acknowledge us, our talents. We've seen a lot of Jamaicans being deported back. Why can't these leaders do something about that? Provide good work, give them work, create these employment job opportunities for them. They'll find purpose for not to illegally migrate to another country, but rather they'll work for their own country. They'll work and make sure that they are well taken of. They are taking care of themselves in their own country. So guys, if you are new to my channel, remember to subscribe, like and share. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I'm your host Larry. Until we meet again, peace out.